Hey, beautiful Geminis, I hope you're doing well today because I just finished doing this reading for you, and honestly, the energy that came through was so intense and unexpected. I had to shuffle the cards 3 times because the first 2 times, they practically jumped out of my hands. Something big is coming for you, something that's going to completely shift your perspective on everything. So I'm sitting here with my favorite deck, and the first thing I want to say is that this reading feels different from usual Gemini readings. Usually your energy is all over the place in the best way possible. But today there's this focused intensity that's quite frankly a little intimidating. Let me share what the cards revealed. The very first card that came out, and I mean it literally flew out while I was shuffling, was the Four of Swords. Now, this is interesting because Four of Swords isn't typically what we'd expect for a shocking event, right? But here's the thing that gave me chills. This card appeared reversed, and in the context of your reading, it's telling me that you've been in this period of mental rest, or maybe even mental stagnation, and something is about to completely shatter that stillness. The Four of Swords reversed is showing me that you've been playing it safe, maybe avoiding some important conversations or decisions. You know how Geminis are usually the ones starting all the discussions and stirring things up? Well, lately you've been unusually quiet about something important. This period of mental withdrawal is about to end in the most dramatic way possible. What's fascinating about this card in your spread is that it's suggesting the shocking event isn't going to come from outside circumstances hitting you randomly. No, this is about you finally speaking up about something you've been keeping inside. The shock comes from you breaking your own silence. And trust me, when a Gemini who's been holding back finally opens their mouth, people listen. I pulled the next card and got the Knight of Cups, which honestly surprised me because Knights are action cards, but Cups are emotional. And this combination is telling me that your shocking action is going to be deeply emotional and romantic in nature, but not in the way you might think. This isn't about declaring love or breaking up with someone. This Knight of Cups is appearing in a way that suggests you're going to make an emotional decision that completely changes how someone sees you. The Knight of Cups energy here is showing me that you're going to approach someone with complete vulnerability and honesty. You know how Geminis are known for being a little flighty with emotions sometimes? Well, this Knight energy is showing me that you're about to prove everyone wrong about that stereotype. You're going to show up with such genuine emotional intelligence that it literally leaves someone speechless. What's driving someone crazy isn't going to be something manipulative or game-playing. It's going to be your complete authenticity. Someone in your life has gotten used to a certain version of you, and when you show up as this emotionally mature, deeply feeling person, it's going to blow their mind. They won't know how to handle this new depth they're seeing in you. The third card I drew was the Seven of Wands, and this is where the reading gets really interesting. Seven of Wands is about standing your ground and defending your position, but the way it appeared in your reading suggests that your shocking action is going to involve you finally standing up for yourself in a situation where you've been accommodating others for way too long. Geminis, you have this tendency to adapt and go along with things because you can see multiple perspectives on everything. But the Seven of Wands is telling me that you've reached a breaking point with this adaptability. You're about to take a stand that surprises everyone, including yourself. The shocking event is you finally saying no, or you finally saying what you really think, without trying to soften it or make it palatable for everyone else. This card is also showing me that when you take this stand, it's going to trigger a defensive response in someone else. They're going to feel like you've completely changed the rules of your relationship or interaction, and they won't know how to respond. The thing that drives them crazy is that they can't argue with your logic or your right to feel the way you feel. Now, the fourth card gave me absolute goosebumps when it appeared because it was the Nine of Pentacles. This card typically represents independence and self-sufficiency, but in the context of your shocking event, it's telling me that your action is going to involve you claiming your independence in a way that nobody saw coming. The Nine of Pentacles energy here suggests that you've been financially or practically dependent on someone, or maybe you've been playing small in some area of your life, and you're about to announce or demonstrate that you don't need that support anymore. This could be anything from deciding to move out, starting your own business, or simply refusing to accept financial help that comes with strings attached. What makes this shocking is that everyone around you has gotten comfortable with you being in a certain role or position. Maybe you've been the one who needs advice, or the one who needs help, or the one who goes along with group decisions. The Nine of Pentacles is showing me that you're about to flip that script completely by demonstrating just how capable and independent you actually are. The person who's going to be driven crazy by this is someone who has been benefiting from you staying in that dependent or accommodating role. When you suddenly show up as completely self-sufficient and confident in your own abilities, it's going to force them to reevaluate their entire relationship with you. The fifth card was the Two of Swords reversed, and this is where the reading gets really specific about the internal process you're going through. Two of Swords reversed indicates that you've been stuck in indecision about something important, probably going back and forth in your mind about whether to speak up or take action. But the reversed position tells me that this period of indecision is ending. You're about to cut through all the mental back and forth and make a clear, definitive choice. The shocking part is how suddenly this clarity is going to come to you. One moment you'll be uncertain, and the next moment you'll know exactly what needs to be done. This card is also suggesting that your decision is going to involve choosing between two people or two options that both have valid points. As a Gemini, you hate having to pick sides because you can usually see the merit in multiple perspectives. But the Two of Swords reversed is telling me that you're going to make a choice that clearly favors one side, and this is going to shock people who are used to you being diplomatic and balanced. The sixth card brought so much clarity to this reading. It was the Hermit reversed. Now, the Hermit usually represents soul-searching and inner wisdom, but in reverse, it's showing me that you're about to emerge from a period of isolation or introspection with some major revelations that you're ready to share with the world. The Hermit reversed in your reading suggests that you've been doing a lot of thinking and soul-searching lately, probably about your relationships, your values, and what you really want from life. You've been unusually introspective for a Gemini, and all of that inner work is about to result in some major external changes. What's going to shock people is how much you've grown and changed during this quiet period. They're expecting the same old, adaptable, go-with-the-flow Gemini, but you're about to show them a much more decisive, self-aware version of yourself. The person who gets driven crazy by this is someone who preferred you when you were less sure of yourself. The seventh card I pulled was the Queen of Wands, and this energy is absolutely powerful for your situation. The Queen of Wands represents confidence, leadership, and the ability to inspire others through your authentic self-expression. In your reading, this card is telling me that your shocking action is going to involve stepping into a leadership role or taking charge of a situation in a way that nobody expected. Geminis aren't usually associated with the Queen of Wands energy because you're more known for your adaptability than your commanding presence. But this card is showing me that you're about to surprise everyone, including yourself, with how naturally you can take charge when you stop second-guessing yourself. The Queen of Wands energy suggests that your shocking event involves you confidently expressing your vision or your standards in a way that completely changes the dynamic of a relationship or situation. You're not going to be asking for permission or trying to convince anyone. You're simply going to state your position with such clarity and confidence that everyone else has to adjust to your energy. What drives someone crazy is that they can't diminish this new confidence you're displaying. They might have gotten used to being able to influence your decisions or make you doubt yourself, but this Queen of Wands energy is unshakable. The eighth card was the Three of Cups reversed, which initially surprised me because Three of Cups is usually about celebration and friendship. But in reverse, and in the context of your reading, it's showing me that your shocking action might involve distancing yourself from a friend group or social circle that hasn't been supporting your growth. Three of Cups reversed suggests that you're going to prioritize your individual path over group harmony. This is significant for Geminis because you usually love being part of social groups and maintaining connections with lots of different people. But this card is telling me that you're about to choose authenticity over popularity. The shocking event might involve you calling out behavior in your friend group that you've been tolerating, or simply refusing to participate in social dynamics that don't align with your values anymore. What drives people crazy is that they lose their power to influence you through social pressure or the fear of being excluded. This card is also suggesting that your shocking action might result in some relationships ending or changing dramatically. But the Three of Cups reversed is showing me that you're going to be completely okay with this, because you'd rather have fewer but more authentic connections. The ninth card gave me chills when it appeared. It was the Five of Pentacles reversed. Five of Pentacles in reverse is about recovery from hardship and finding inner resources you didn't know you had. In your reading, this card is suggesting that your shocking action comes from a place of having overcome some kind of struggle or limitation. The Five of Pentacles reversed is telling me that you've been through a period where you felt excluded, unsupported, or like you were struggling alone. But instead of making you bitter, this experience has made you incredibly strong and self-reliant. Your shocking action is going to demonstrate just how much you've grown through whatever challenges you've faced. What's going to shock people is how you've transformed your struggles into strength. They might have been expecting you to be defeated or dependent, but instead, you're going to show up more powerful and self-sufficient than ever. The person who gets driven crazy is someone who thought they could keep you in that struggling position, or someone who underestimated your ability to overcome challenges. This card is also suggesting that your shocking action might involve you helping someone else who's going through similar struggles, but doing it in a way that completely changes the power dynamic between you and the people around you. The 10th card was the Page of Swords, and this is such perfect energy for a Gemini reading. Page of Swords represents new ideas, communication breakthroughs, and the courage to speak truth to power. In your reading, this card is telling me that your shocking action is definitely going to involve you using your voice in a completely new way. The Page of Swords energy suggests that you're going to communicate something that you've never been brave enough to say before. This isn't just about speaking up. It's about speaking with a level of clarity and directness that surprises everyone who knows you. Geminis are known for being communicators, but usually you communicate in a more diplomatic, roundabout way. This page energy is showing me that you're about to cut through all the diplomatic niceties and say exactly what needs to be said. What makes this shocking is the courage and directness you're going to display. The person who gets driven crazy is someone who has been relying on your tendency to soften your messages or avoid conflict. The Page of Swords is also suggesting that this communication breakthrough is going to open up entirely new possibilities for you. By finally speaking your truth clearly, you're going to discover that you have much more power and influence than you realized. Now, the final card in this reading was the Eight of Cups, and this card brought everything together in such a profound way. Eight of Cups represents the courage to walk away from something that no longer serves you, even if it looks successful or comfortable from the outside. In your reading, the Eight of Cups is telling me that your shocking action is ultimately about you choosing to leave behind a situation, relationship, or way of being that has been limiting your growth. This isn't a dramatic storming out. It's a conscious, deliberate choice to prioritize your spiritual and emotional development over external security or approval. What makes this shocking is that from the outside, whatever you're walking away from might look like something others would want to keep. Maybe it's a relationship that looks good on paper, or a job that provides security, or a social situation that gives you status. But the Eight of Cups energy is showing me that you're choosing authenticity and personal growth over all of those external benefits. The person who gets driven crazy is someone who can't understand why you would give up something that seems advantageous. They might have been benefiting from you staying in that situation, or they might just not understand your priorities. But the Eight of Cups energy is showing me that you're going to be completely at peace with your decision because you know it's aligned with your highest good. What's beautiful about this card appearing in your reading is that it suggests your shocking action isn't coming from a place of anger or reactivity. It's coming from a place of wisdom and self-respect. You're not trying to hurt anyone or prove anything. You're simply choosing to honor your own growth and authenticity. Looking at all these cards together, Geminis, the picture that emerges is of someone who has been doing a lot of inner work and is now ready to act from a place of complete authenticity and self-knowledge. Your shocking action is going to involve you stepping into your power in a way that nobody saw coming, including yourself. The person who gets driven crazy is someone who preferred you when you were more uncertain, more accommodating, or more dependent on their approval or support. When you show up as confident, decisive, and self-sufficient, it's going to trigger all kinds of reactions in people who benefited from you being less sure of yourself. But here's what I want you to remember as you navigate this energy. The shock that people feel when you step into your authenticity is not your responsibility to manage. You've spent enough time adapting yourself to make others comfortable. This period coming up is about you finally prioritizing your own growth and happiness. The cards are showing me that this shocking event is actually a major breakthrough for you. It might feel scary in the moment, and there might be some temporary disruption in your relationships, but ultimately this is about you claiming your power and living more authentically. I'm seeing that this energy is going to build over the next few weeks. So don't be surprised if you start feeling more and more ready to make some major changes. Trust that inner voice that's getting stronger and clearer. Your intuition is spot on right now. One thing I want to mention is that this reading has a lot of reversed cards, which often indicates internal shifts that are ready to become external actions. You've been processing and growing internally, and now that growth is ready to manifest in your outer world. For those of you who are wondering about timing, I'm getting that this shocking event is going to happen within the next lunar cycle. The energy feels imminent, like it's building to a crescendo that can't be contained much longer. Remember, Geminis, being shocking isn't about being dramatic or hurtful. True shock comes from authenticity in a world that's gotten used to people playing roles and hiding their truth. When you show up as genuinely yourself, it has the power to transform not just your own life, but the lives of everyone around you. I hope this reading resonated with you and gave you some insight into the powerful energy you're carrying right now. Trust yourself, trust your growth, and don't be afraid to let people see who you've become.